5, 4, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to game number 2 of SKMC versus STBomber. And the reason I say SK and then Star Tails instead of ST is because I have no freaking clue what SK stands for. Once again, my name is Coffee Break, and it is good to be back doing the Coffee Cast. It has been quite some time. Disclaimer at the very beginning of the video, I am so far out of the metagame, so far out of the loop, incredibly out of the loop, that I really have no idea what's going on anymore. So if I sound kind of stupid in these this next game, and perhaps a game after this if there's another one, once again, this is a best of something series. I'm just kind of downloading them as I cast them. If I sound kind of stupid, make a little mistake, I apologize. Please give me a little leeway as I ease my way back in, because I literally have been so busy this last month getting a job, beginning an apartment search, blah da da da, that I have had no time for StarCraft. I haven't watched a stream. I don't know what's been happening in tournaments, so no idea what's going on. Don't want to focus on that too much, though, as I am doing my best to assimilate back in. By the way, if you hear a slight echo, it's because I'm in my room back home, and it echoes. There we go, simple as that. Last game, we saw MC go ahead, open up with a 1-gate expansion versus the 1-racks expansion of STBomber. Bomber did try to do a little bit of early game marine aggression, doing that 1 racks into 4 racks. However, it failed miserably. It was held off quite well by SKMC, who was able to come back and do just kind of a strong push. I mean, he did a little bit of Dark Templar play and then came up the front with a large force of Blink Stalkers and was able to take game number 1 fairly handily. At no point did it ever really look like he was in a little bit of trouble. He killed 24 workers with his Dark Templar harassment, so it went pretty well for him. By the way, I should say SKMC spawning on the top right at about the 1 o'clock position as our blue Protoss player, and on the bottom left we do have STBomber spawning as our red Terran player. And yeah, so it should be interesting. See what these two players do decide to do in this game. It looks like Bomber going to be going for that same exact build, that 1-racks expansion, dropping that command center down over in his natural expansion. I would expect MC to do pretty much the same thing as well. The 1-gate expansion, it's fairly good if you have really good control. You can die to a little bit of early aggression, 2-racks, 3-racks play if you're not careful. Seeing as we have a 1-racks expansion coming out of Bomber, however, I think MC would be perfectly fine to go ahead and do a 1-gate expansion of his own. By the way, also, some of the casting might sound a little bit funny because I'm going to be trying to assimilate a slightly different style into my casting as well. I used to listen to audio-only cast by, oh gosh, his name, Jack Tansey, good. I wanted to at least give his name a shout out. He used to do audio-only cast, which I really liked. No video, I mean, you just kind of go to soundcloud.com and listen to him. And while I don't want to do audio-only cast per se, I do want to make it so that if you're not completely paying attention to what's going on the screen at this exact moment, you still have some sort of idea of what's going on. That's something I was kind of thinking about toying around with before I stopped casting last time. Never got really around to trying it because I was doing the Nespa tournament and wanted just to make sure I had a solid, normal casting style for that. And yeah, so I don't know exactly how much or how little of that I'm going to be doing, but if I start sounding ultra specific on some things, that is why. And with that little sidetrack, that little bunny trail as I always like to call it, I have effectively killed that early game awkwardness where you don't really know what to say. That applies to all casters, or at least all young casters. I don't want to speak for day 9 or something. These guys, those guys have been doing this quite a bit. Do have a slightly different build coming out of MC this game. Instead of going for that Twilight Council, not going to be going for that sneaky Dark Templar play that's been played once. And once you use Dark Templars once in the series, it's really hard to kind of come back, turn around, and do it again. So we're going to go ahead and see MC lay down a robotics facility perfectly normal play, super standard, and going to be going up into a 3-gate robo. Would not be surprised to see Immortals instead of Colossus in this early game. Colossus transition, of course, but rushing to Colossus, not actually really the best thing you can do anymore. I mean, that used to be that huge play that you'd see everybody do, but not so much anymore. And actually, going to be seeing Warp Prism play once again coming out of MC. Slightly surprising to see Warp Prism play 2 games in a row, but I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal whatsoever. We see quite a few sentries being warped in, a couple of zealots as well. I wonder what the grand scheme here for MC is. Maybe just drop a few units up in the main and throw a force field down on the ramp. I know that was a popular PvC style. Oh, losing that stalker. MC needs to be careful. Oh gosh, he cannot really engage his army directly in the middle. Even with that many sentries, he's going to lose quite a bit of those if Bomber does micro a little bit. But no, actually does get fairly nice force fields down, and Zealot's going to just rip that army apart. I was thinking that maybe Bomber would be able to pick off a couple of those sentries without MC being able to get the force fields down first, but no, MC just kind of jumped on top of that. I guess what it came down to was MC knew that Bomber was moving out. Bomber was unsure that MC was moving out, and MC was able to get the upper hand in that battle. Elements of surprise, always a big thing. Going to be warping in up on the high ground, has a pylon on the low ground as well. Now there goes the force field on the ramp, and will soon have enough energy for one more force field. Going to try to kill that sentry, going to get it. And that second force field might not get up, but the sentry's getting so close. Not quite getting the force field placed properly on that ramp. SCV's being pulled off the line. Not quite able to do all the damage they need to, though. And now Bomber once again sitting in kind of a bad position. Losing a lot of SCVs. Losing all of his Marines. And MC once again showing the strength of Warp Prism play. Just getting up on the high ground there. And really just kind of taking out Bomber. Bomber a little bit out of position for that, but a nice force field on the ramp is what really sealed the deal in the beginning of that engagement. I'm really impressed by MC's play in this series so far. This has got to at least be a best of 5 then, because I know that there is at least one more game in this series that I was seeing. And if you just heard that kind of loud whumming noise, I don't know if you could hear that or not, but my room is actually directly above the garage door to the house. So, anytime somebody uses the garage door, it literally vibrates the floor in this room. I'm going to go on to game number 3 of Star Tales Bomber vs. SKMC. Please stick around. This has been a pretty good series. MC doing a little bit of abnormal play. Let's see what he pulls out in game number 3.